30 years ago today, UMaine hockey won its first national championship. The program was just 15 years old. The season was no fluke. The 92-93 team may be the best college hockey team ever. Sean Walsh was in his 9th season leading the program. A few years ago, Tim Throckmorton caught up with many members of the team and offered us this look back.
Bring in 7 or 8 guys, you're going to have 3 or 4 become impacts, or you're not going to reach the Final Four, and that's exactly what's happened.
The impact players in 1992 were incredibly good. One of them was future Hockey Hall of Famer Paul Kariya.
Obviously, you think he's going to be very good. You know he's going to be very good. I think you just don't realize how good he's going to be.
The expectations, we didn't know what to expect. We knew freshmen were good. We didn't know how good, and we found out in one practice that they were better than anything we've had.
And add the talent of the Ferraro twins.
The camaraderie that we had was amazing. You know, I played in a lot of teams after this one, and it just was never the same.
Well, Jim Montgomery being the greatest leader I've still ever played with or been associated with, he was incredible.
The pieces were there, and the Walsh plan in place.
Because the year before we only lost 4 games, so we were very used to winning a lot of games, so that wasn't new.
They didn't lose a game in the championship season until February 20th. They led Boston University 6-2, but lost in overtime.
It was just a freaky game.
Strange things started happening. Great teams sometimes just get beat by fluky things.
And the winning streak is over for Maine.
There were no more losses after that, and they made it to the Frozen Four.
When you're younger and you're in the moment, you don't, I don't want to use the word appreciate it as much, but you know, it certainly is a very touching moment.
The returning players had those 4 losses the year before and not even made it to the Final Four.
I just remember being very, very quiet, very focused. Everything was quiet, focused, intense.
The semifinal game was against Michigan.
Before Michigan, you know that it's never easy. It didn't matter what our record was. When you're in a one-game deal, and we had lived it the year before, we were confident, but we were certainly not cocky, and we knew how hard it was going to be.
Coach Walsh, always confident.
Somebody in the locker room said, Michigan can run, but they can't hide.
The semifinal game ended with a 4-3 win for UMaine in overtime on a goal by Lee Saunders. To the championship game 2 days later.
And before the Lake Superior State game, the pregame meal, that's one thing I'll never forget. That was the quietest pregame meal ever. Really? Nothing was said.
Yeah, I think extremely focused, a little bit quieter than we usually are, just because we knew it was all or nothing that night.
It was the magnitude. This is the first time that I think we had gone to the final game, so, I mean, it was, and for those of us that were seniors, that was it.
Maine scored the first 2 goals, but after 2 periods, they trailed Lake State 4-2. Then came the 3rd period. Freshman phenom Paul Kariya and captain Jim Montgomery put on a storybook performance. Kariya set up Montgomery 3 separate times. Maine won its first national championship 5-4.
Ranked #1 to start the year, and it's an accomplishment to win, but it's also an accomplishment to carry that on all through the whole season, to have that pressure on our team and to do it all the way through. It's impressive and speaks volumes for the type of coaches that we had here and for the players that we had here.
The University of Maine, and especially the Maine hockey program, and the elite people I was fortunate to be around helped shape my life, and I think it's led to the success that I've had, and many of us from the Walsh era have had.
Maine is going to win.